Good morning Internet, for such it is, and today we are looking at the style of the one and only Neil Zaza. You probably recognise the intro there from I'm Alright. If you don't, then you really should go and have a look for it. It's a fantastic song, full of tremendous playing. Now, this is actually going to be a two-parter, as I had a look at Neil's style for the blog back in 2021, but neglected to do a video. And so I thought I'd do this as a sort of precursor for the second look at his style coming in a couple of weeks' time. So what we're going to be looking at here are a couple of his signature licks and techniques, try and get an idea, a little bit of a handle on the guy's style. Let's dive into this. So, first technique that we're going to look at is very much a Neil signature, and this is the use of open voice arpeggios. So, I'm going to clean the sound up here and demonstrate what I'm talking about. Helps if I turn the volume up, obviously. So what I've got here is an E chord voiced with the root to the fifth to the third. Now, if you're familiar with a triad, then you'll know that that is a chord voicing that has no repetition, no excess notes in it. So, for example, if I was to play a standard open E chord down by the nut, I'd actually be playing the notes of E, B, E, G sharp, B, E. So there's three E's, there's two B's, and there's one G sharp. So although there's only three different notes being played, there's a lot of repetition here. Now a triad voicing cuts that down to just one of each note. One root, one third, one fifth. Something like, they are what we would term closed voice triads. Now that little bit of music theory is written by pianists, because pianists can only go in one direction, they can only go up or down. We as guitarists, of course, can play in multiple different directions. So this technique here turns that idea on its head. Instead of root third fifth, we're going to go root fifth third, and this has the effect of moving one note of the triad effectively into a higher octave than the others. So here I've got my root E and my fifth B in the same octave, and then I've got my G sharp here on the 9th fret. Excuse me, touch the Grant Mitchells there. Root on the A string, fifth on the D string, and third on the B string. And this voicing has the effect of lifting the G sharp note, the third, effectively into the next octave up. And we can invert these as well. So root position will give me root fifth third, and then I could go to first inversion, which would normally be third to fifth to root, but in this case it's going to be third to root to fifth, and you've got a couple of different options in terms of fingering there. And then going from the fifth, now I would normally play this again, fifth, root, third, if I was following closed voice. Here I'm going to go fifth to third to root, or depending on how you want to finger it. And these voicings respond really well to hybrid picking, or finger styles I'm doing there, because what you're doing is getting all the notes exactly at the same time. But equally strummed, they're not too shabby either. As long as we're a little bit judicious with our use of fretboard muting, in order to make sure that no unwelcome open string notes come through. And these will also sit remarkably well in a mix, which I would demonstrate if it weren't for the fact that the loopers have it. And they can serve to highlight particular elements of a chord. And they also respond extraordinarily well to being played through as arpeggios. And you can see them being used in I'm Alright, as well as a bunch of other Neil Zaza tracks. Another big user of these is Eric Johnson as well. So clearly great minds do think alike, but they're excellent ideas to stick into a rhythm or a lead part, and they can be really useful as well for trying to work out to build a hook. For example, if you're looking to find a connection points, notes that connect the chords together, but that's quite a big topic, and open voice arpeggios probably deserve a video all of their own. But today, as I say, we're just dipping a toe, we'll edit that, dipping a toe into the style of Neil Zaza. So I'm just going to demonstrate the arpeggios that are tabbed out in the blog post. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, and then if we do the minor, I should say I'm playing all of these as E. So that was E major, now we're doing E minor. So root fifth, flat third, E, B, G, and then G, E, B, and then B, G, E. So something to take away and play with there. Right, moving on to licks and tweaking the sound ever so slightly. Let's give that some dirt, I think. Now the next two licks are lifted from the classic I'm Alright, and if this is, say, the track that I use the intro from. And this first one is a major scale lick. So that's the E major scale, and what Neil's doing is effectively playing a melody going from the third, fourth, fifth, octave, 7, 6, 5th, but playing them against the E pedal tone rooted here on the 9th fret of the G. So here's the lick slowly. And then we're going to tag that with a slide down from the 9th fret on the G, which is the E root note, down to the 4th fret G, which is the 5th, which is the B, which is the 5th. And then I'm going to tap the 9th fret on the G, and then tap again and slide up to the F sharp. And now let's do that a little bit more quickly. And the note that he's ending on there is the F sharp, which is the second of the key, but it's the 5th of the 5 chord, which is B, so that sort of anticipates the chord change. And so that's why you get that sort of sense of anticipation finishing on the F sharp there. Okay, next one, this is a more intervallic lick. Again, this is going from an E, and so I'm playing root to 5th, root to 6th, root to 7th, root to octave, and then sliding root to 2nd to 3rd, and then a semitone bend to the 4th. And let's try a little bit more quickly. And that aching sound of the 3rd being bent up to the 4th. Think of that as a major sus4 resolution. That's why that can sound so satisfying. Okay, moving on to something a little bit more shreddy. This is a favoured pattern for Neil when he's got the pedal to the metal. This is the E major scale in 3 notes per string form. So you're probably familiar with that. If not, you probably shouldn't be watching this bit of the video because it's not really going to make too much sense. And a favourite pattern that Neil will play it with is 4. So we're grouping this as 1, 2, 3, 4. So we run it all together. We'll do it slowly first. We'll pick the pace up a little bit now. And that also works ascending the scale as well. And if you want, you can dial in a little bit of legato in there. So you can see there, all I'm trying to do is pick when I cross strings, nowhere else. Or coming up. And again, we try it with the beats. And that's a great little pattern to work in. Okay, one last one. Again, this is another sort of speed pattern, and this is looking at a scale figure that Neil does seem to favour. So what I've got here. And one grouping that I noticed him playing a lot of his faster passages will be playing. So what we're doing there is a sextuplet, another sextuplet, and then a quintuplet, so 5 notes. Now this is, I tend to count these using a word because that's just easier to fit a 5-syllable word into a beat as opposed to trying to count 5 notes to a beat. So I like to use the word Arpeggios. And I don't think this is a conscious decision on Neil's part. I think what he's trying to do is to get the third at the top of the scale figuring onto the downbeat of the next bar. The third, of course, being the note that makes the chord major or minor. So the third is very much the heart and soul of the chord. It's the melody note, it's the note that makes it happy, it's the note that tugs the heartstrings. And so if you're keen on melody, thirds are a great interval to focus on. But you can also apply things like fourths to that. Although you are going to get a slight quirk there from the unison between the B note on the 16th fret G and the B note on the 12th fret B. But at speed, in the moment, I don't think anyone's going to mind too much. If I apply stacked sixes to that, that gives me... So 6, 1 and a 1 again, E and A and D, D, G, G, B, E, E. And at speed. Right, there we go. Made it to the end. I hope that you've enjoyed that. Please remember, like, share, subscribe, the Holy Trinity. This is a one-man show on beg, borrowed, donated kit. So every little bit of engagement does drive the algorithm, and it is so appreciated. So yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you next time. All right, take care.